Hi there. In this video, we're going to be going through the creation and setup of the application front end and automation for the virtual visit backup solution. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's part of a couple of different posts on the Healthcare and Life Sciences blog from Microsoft. And this is the technical how to build the front end that you see in that solution, at least covering the basics. So I'll check the link below to be able to see the details on that if you're not already familiar. From there, we're going to pick up. What we'll be doing is focusing on that Power App, which drives the creation of the online meeting that people are going to join, and also uses Azure Communication Services to send that out. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and use the Power Apps Studio. I'll actually keep this over here for inspiration. And I'll add a couple of things onto the screen. Again, we're going to be using SMS to join. So I'll add a text input. And this is going to be our SMS number. And we'll add a nice fancy button here. And this is going to be to create virtual visit. And I'll say, and send SMS. Be a little wordy here. And then lastly, in the demo video, we went to a separate screen to give the Teams join link. There's not a reason to have to do that. It's just how it was set up there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep it simple for this. I'm going to make this look like it's a link. Go ahead and set it to be blue and underlined here. And I'm just going to call it, nothing for now. And we'll add a little bit of that detail once we have our join link to be able to include here. So we're done on the front end. It's very Spartan, but in this example, we don't need it to be too fancy, though I did call it a fancy virtual visit demo. So let's go ahead and move over to the automation side of this, which is where the real power of this happens, trying to obscure from your end user from having to go into Teams or bookings to create a virtual appointment and then send out notifications. We can kind of do all that using Power Automate behind the scenes. So this is going to be our fancy virtual visit automation. And in here, from a previous step in this series, we went through the creation of a custom virtual visit connector. So first we'll create the online meeting. We'll go ahead and set that up to start now. And we'll set the meeting end time to be 30 minutes from now. All right, now from there, I'm going to jump to the last step. Hey, pups. Go ahead and jump to the last step where I want to respond to my Power App with my Teams join URL. So I'll go ahead and call that join URL. And from here, so here's the Teams client join URL that I want to send back to my Power App. But before we go back into the Power App, there are a couple of other steps that I want to do. The first one is add in the virtual appointment features, getting a waiting room lobby, making it so the patient doesn't have to join using a Teams client. They can just join in a mobile browser or a regular browser. So I go ahead and add that in here. And I'll use the online meeting ID from the previous step, which is where we want to enable that. And then I also want to send this out using Azure Communication Services using an SMS message. So I'll go ahead and pick SMS, send an SMS from Azure Communication Services in my existing phone number. And here for that phone number, I want to ask for it, if I could type, ask for it in Power Apps, which means I'll be able to pass in what we collected in that Power Apps front end. So this is it from the flow. We get the the phone number from Power Apps, create the meeting, enable the virtual visit features, send the SMS to the patient, and then we pass back the join link for our application. So I'll go ahead and save that. Oh, I forgot to include the message. So please join the virtual visit. And then I will include for the there we go. I want to include the client join web URL. So that's the one that doesn't require them to have to have the Teams app to be able to join this meeting. So now I'll save. It should let me do that. And from here, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking that output, the URL that's coming back, and I'm going to add it in where we have the now blank link text that was out there. Oh, looks like I'll need to refresh that manually, so I'll go ahead and hit the refresh button. And there's our fancy virtual visit automation that we just created. This is great. Now, when I click this button, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set the Teams join URL to the fancy virtual visit automation detail that we get back, that Teams join link that's going to be coming. And I want to make sure that I pass in our text input 1 field value. So that's how we actually pass out the information to the Power Automate flow that we just created. Then from there, I'm going to go to my label, and it still looks like nothing here. I'm actually going to update this now, where I want it to be my Teams join URL is the text that I want to have there. And within that URL, it's actually the join URL property that I'm sending it back. It's blank right now, so we don't see anything. That's okay. That's how we'd like it to be. But we will want people to be able to see that URL. I'm also going to make it so when I click on this, so when I select this box later, I want to launch that, that exact same Teams meeting link that's getting passed back. So with that, I've got everything that I need to be able to test this out. Go ahead, hit play. I'll add in my phone number. Create the virtual visit and send SMS. This is going out, going through all of that automation, minding each of those steps that we included in Power Automate Flow. Here's the link that came back as part of this. So if I give that a click, it's going to prompt me to go into my Teams meeting. For demo purposes here, I'll continue in browser. This should look very familiar to what was in the previous posts video, but it loads me into the Microsoft Teams meeting as part of the launch of that. So very straightforward as far as creating that. Created this in just a few minutes. It is just that easy. Of course, from here you can take it, do some beautification of this perhaps, make this a little more friendly to be able to look at, but those are the core aspects of building this app. Hope this has been helpful. Thanks.